Mobility and Flexibility Week. So I'm Samantha and welcome to our Wild Women online studio. This week, as I say, we're going to be focusing on mobility and flexibility. So our pop-up class this week in line with that is going to be Flex. So if you've not done Flex yet, you are in for a treat. Have you got one of these and one of these? So if not, that's okay. You can get them online pretty cheap or Decathlon or somewhere like that. So if you don't have a spiky ball, you can perhaps use a tennis ball instead. You can have a foam roller. It can be long, it can be short. It doesn't really matter too much for the purpose of this session. So these are just an amazing tool for us to work with Flex. We use it to help increase our mobility and flexibility is the idea. So I'll tell you more about that in a sec, but let me just see, are you there? Write in the comments and tell me, or drop an emoji in, give me a high five, give us a hands up. Write a note in the comments if you're there and let me know that you're here, if you're on live or if you're on the replay. So, we've got a lovely week ahead. So our first session this week is going to be Yogi Core. We're going to be focusing on our legs and our spine. And then we've got Club Size as usual Tuesday night. That is live only. So if you fancy a little bit of a disco dance in your living room or your dining room or wherever, then we'll be doing that Tuesday at 7 live only. Everything else is recorded. So we're going to do yoga Tuesday night, which is a lovely relaxing stretch. Pilates for our core, and then our pop-up class Wednesday morning is Flex. Good morning, everybody. Oh, Spiky Ball works wonders on my bad shoulder. Yes, they're so great, aren't they? It's a bit like when you go for a massage, so there's trigger points, aren't they? That is what we're going to be using these for. Good morning, Linda. How are you? All right, lovely lady. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Or good afternoon or evening, depending if you're watching this later on. So these are such a wonderful tool. Now, if I said to you, what is the difference between mobility and flexibility? Would you know the difference? What is the answer? So, what is mobility? What is flexibility? What are we talking about doing there? Because I think it's important that we recognise what it is. You know, it's great doing exercise, but it's all very well just like going through the motions. But actually, if we like doing it more mindfully and we know what we're doing and how we're doing it, we're going to get a much better result. So that's why I always talk you through when we're doing an exercise, what it's doing, which part of the body we're working. We're just really curious, like, what is mobility? What is flexibility? Do we know the difference? I would love to know what your thoughts are on that. I'll just grab a quick glass of water. My throat's getting a bit dry, sorry. I think sometimes it can get a little bit confusing, like the difference between the two, but I'll take you through it in a sec. Just while we're here as well, if you're interested in the retreat, I would love to hear from you. We've had some good interest so far. We've had people start to book as well. So the places are starting to book up for the retreat. So get in there quick. We've still got plenty of spaces. Excuse me. However, they are getting booked up, and I've got quite a bit of new interest as well from people that have never done our classes before, which is just wonderful. Ladies from here, there, and everywhere. I think some of it's come from some new followers I've gained this month as well. People are like, "Oh, this looks good. What's that?" So I'm going to do a live chat possibly tomorrow night about it and just go through some questions that have been asked. Sorry, no, that's not my throat this morning. So anyone going to dive in the comments and tell us what mobility and flexibility is, or I'll just do it otherwise? Well, I will anyway, but still. So the retreat is in autumn, and it's the first weekend in October. It's such a lovely, lovely area. There's a hot tub, there's a sauna. The sauna looks out across the landscape, and you can see the sea in the distance. It's just so beautiful. It is about it's a 5-minute drive to the coast, but to walk it's probably about 15-20 minutes. So it's called Big House by the Sea, but you're not on the sea, you're by it, so you can see. The views are quite panoramic actually. Such a lovely setting. Okay, so I'm not getting any more comments coming up, so I'll tell you, shall I? I was hoping some people would jump in and be like, oh yeah. I'm just checking on my phone now, like I've got. Here we go. All right, then I'll put you out your misery. Oh, Linda, thank you. Linda's jumped in. Thank you, Linda. Mobility is general movement, okay, and flexibility being more bendy. I love that. Yeah, yeah, pretty much. See, well, you can get general movement, I guess, from flexibility as well and strength and things. But the flexibility, yeah, being more bendy. I love that. I think Instagram has a lot to answer for, doesn't it, when we think about yoga? A lot of people think yoga is just about being bendy, as Linda said. Yeah, someone's put ditto, Linda. Okay, cool. Thank you, Linda, for jumping in there. Anyone else? Throw your ideas in. Oh, Kathy's here. Morning, Kathy. Welcome, lovely lady. We're just talking about mobility and flexibility. The fundamental differences are part of the body that you're working. So, mobility is to do with your joints. So let me put put that foam roller down. There we go. So when we're thinking about our joints, it's how mobile we are is how much we can move our joints. So if you think about your shoulder joint, for example, if it's quite stiff and it's feeling quite tight, you might just have a small range of motion. You might be trying to take your arm further back and it won't go any further, and then people start twisting. But if it's a bit stiff, it might not carry on. When we've got a full range of motion through that joint, that's when we are nice and mobile. So the difference between not very mobile is just sort of like small movements within our joints. And if we're really mobile, nice and mobile, we can get this really lovely full range of motion through our joints. So the two do work pair in pair, though, hand in hand, so to speak. Because if you think about, let's take the hip socket. So let's pretend this is the femur, and you've got the top of the femur in the ball. It's a ball and socket joint. So I've literally got a ball here. Imagine a ball and socket joint. Here's your socket. Here's the joint. Okay, it's how much it can move around within that joint is how mobile we're going to be. So in order to increase that mobility, when we exercise, we need to move it as much as we can. When we move a joint, then we create what's called synovial fluid. And this is a little bit like the body's WD-40. I was thinking it's a bit like the Tin Man from Wizard of Oz, if he's not got too much synovial fluid going around his body. It's the lubricant, it's the natural lubricant that is making that joint move more freely within that joint. Okay, so yeah, so Linda did say, you do get more movement. So yeah, well done, Linda. Flexibility is to do with your muscles, okay? So how much your muscles can lengthen when they are sort of relaxed, really. Well, yeah, because they're not contracted. You will never ever be able to increase your flexibility if your muscle is contracted. So let me give you an example. It's probably easier to show you with my arms. So you've got your joint here, which is your elbow joint. In order for that elbow joint to move, we need to contract these bicep muscles here. So I'm going to bring that ball to my shoulder. By doing that, I'm contracting my biceps and I'm moving the elbow joint. Yeah. Underneath here, you've got your triceps. Now they're stretching. So this is why everything works together. Can you see? You don't really do one thing and then the other. It all works together essentially. We're mobilizing the elbow joint, we're strengthening the bicep, but we're also stretching the triceps. All that is happening at the same time. So it's like a little dance, your body. It's all yin and yang. It's clever. It's quite beautiful. I hope that is clear. I hope that is making sense and feeling a little bit more like we're understanding what's happening there. So the short answer is mobility is your joints and flexibility is your muscles. And mobility is how much range of movement that you have within those joints. So if you think about, like, if we don't move, the more sedentary we are, the more we just sit down at a desk, on a sofa, in a car, not really getting up and moving, the less we are going to be able to move. Good example. Oh, good. just easy to give you that visual there of the biceps, the triceps, the elbow joint. Definitely. It is that old phrase, use it or lose it, for sure. We know as we get older, things don't work quite as well as they might have used to, and that's just a natural thing. We can't stop the aging process. However, we can help it massively. We can ease things so much. And so that is what we're going to be working and focusing on this week in our sessions, is thinking about our mobility and flexibility. Now, when I talk about flexibility, we're just doing it in order to be able to stretch our muscles so that we have a bit more freedom through our bodies. So we're not training, well, you might be, I don't know, but we're not, the main focus is not to train to like do the splits or hold your leg in the sky or whatever. I think sometimes people think about yoga when they see like on social media and these people doing these phenomenal poses, which is wonderful, but the poses are only one aspect of yoga. It's everything else as well. So please don't worry. You don't have to be flexible to do yoga. You don't have to be bendy. But what we will do is we'll work with your muscles to make them a little bit more flexible so that you have a better quality of life. That is the crux of why we do these classes, is to give us a better quality of life. And so I hope that is all helpful and useful. Has anyone got any questions? We're going to do. So I'll tell you what we do with this spiky ball if you've not done it before. Ladies that have done it before, tell us how you felt after using the spiky ball and the foam roller. Someone just said that it really helps. It works wonders on their bad shoulder. So let's think the pec muscles, because you can see mine here. So if we think about the pectorals, if we were just to like rub the ball in a diagonal direction, because that's the direction these muscle fibers go in, this particular muscle group, up towards the shoulder, the collarbone, down to the sternum, the breastbone. So this group of muscles here, as you roll in this ball, all these like little prickles, apply pressure to the muscle fibers, but also the fascia. So the fascia is this wonderful connective tissue, you might already know, but if you don't, it's this wonderful elastic, stretchy tissue around your joints, kind of your muscles, all around your muscles. If you go for a massage, it is the same thing. They're going to be doing is basically essentially massaging into the fascia around the muscles, unless you have a deep tissue one. But yeah, so that is what we're doing here. We'll be using the ball. We'll be using the foam roller. This can be a killer, can't it? In a good way, in a pleasure pain kind of way, especially when we do down the side of our legs. Oh, cool. Glad that's really helpful. Yeah. So fundamentally, what we're doing with these tools is a bit like when you go for a massage. It's not as relaxing, I'll be honest. You can put twinkly lights on and have nice music and darken the room. Still not as relaxing. It is more like, you find that niggly bit, don't you? Yeah. Linda says, that dreaded foam roll. It's one of those love-hate relationships, that's for sure, isn't it? It's like you love it because you know it's doing you good, and afterwards you feel incredible. Yeah, but there is one particular one, isn't there, that we do, which is a bit of an ouchy one. You probably will pull some funny faces. I always think, gosh, what does my face look like while I'm doing this? Like, oh. But it's good. It's good. We're not doing anything. It should never be painful. It's just that we feel it. Anytime we do anything in any of our classes, they should never be painful. But you will feel it. As I say, it might feel a little bit uncomfortable. It's your knowing the difference, though, between uncomfortable and pain. Like, you listen to your body. So yeah, good job. We are muted. Oh, you lovely. You love it. You love it, really. Yeah. Oh, so there we go. In our yogi core this morning, ladies who are joining us, I'm using the bar, but you can use a chair just for a couple of the stretches. We're working on leg flexibility. Thought just for holding on to love hate. You love the spiky ball. Okay. So you hate the foam roller, but you love the spiky ball. All right then. That's fine. My thighs are shouting, no. Brilliant. Okay. So I hope that has really helped you. Oh, the spiky ball, it is magic. I think it just makes your muscles feel more free, doesn't it? In order to be able to be flexible as well, just to touch on that, you need to have that range of motion within your joints. If you don't have the flexibility within, the mobility within your joints, then you won't have the flexibility of the muscle. Because if I just go back to that one, this example, so we're thinking about the flexibility of the triceps. If that elbow, that joint is not mobile enough to bring the rest of the arm over here, under here is not going to get stretched as much. Yeah, when you think about when we're doing our tricep stretches here, it needs to be able to have the range of motion within your joints of your body to be able to stretch the opposing muscle group. So that's just something to think about. You've got to be mobile in order to be able to increase your flexibility as well. So there we go. The two work together, as you can see. It's that yin-yang effect throughout the body. So that's why I thought we're not going to have a mobility week and a flexibility week, because the two do sit together, and flex is the perfect opportunity for us to embody that, embrace that, and a little bit of love, hate, and a bit of a giggle and a laugh as well. But wow, don't we feel it? We do feel amazing afterwards. Yeah, it's magic. Alrighty, so I'm going to leave it there. If you've got any questions, comments, feedback, drop me a message if you're interested in the retreat. I'll come and do a chat about that separately. Have a wonderful week. I hope you enjoy it. Take care, everyone.